Greetings, humans, in the realm of Yarth. I am Sollum Lacerta, famed apprentice of wizard Ebrius Porcos, and through my studies of the dark arts discovered a portal to your realm, and greater stores of lore than the greatest bibliotheca in my lands. Amid these I discovered creepy pastas, and although inedible, are a mere fraction of dark history and tales I find most intriguing. Alongside my human companion, the Narrator, and his Electricae Computatum, we are scouring the internal nets for more and more of these writings. It has been my decision that both those from my personal librarius and those of this world must be shared, to educate the weary and entertain those who appreciate the shadow as well as the light. Come and join us for a reading, and for a time enter a world outside of your own, or quite possibly inside your very home.
Night Shift, Part 5. So, most people would probably avoid going back to that place after what happened to me in the basement. Unfortunately, the pay was too good to give it up, so I tried my best to convince myself it was just some of the employees playing a prank on me. I returned about a week after the basement incident. The event was considerably utilizing the second and third floor of the building, larger, so they had me working with another security contractor. Most of the night we just made our rounds, then we would meet up and hang out. Nature called, and I went to the first floor lobby restroom. The first floor lobby was off limits to the guest for this event, so I figured I could go take care of my business in peace. The old wooden doors of the restroom were heavy and kind of stuck to the frame. You had to really push those doors to get them to open, and when they opened, they made a kind of loud cracking noise. The lights in the bathroom were old as well, and the switches made an audible pop noise when turned on or off. I did a quick check of the restroom to make sure all stalls were empty before I sat down. Once I was satisfied that I was the only one in the room, I sat down and let nature take its course. That is, until I heard the pop of the light switch and the lights turned off. You don't know fear until you're sitting on the pot, pants around your ankles, and the lights switch off in a building you've already had strange occurrences in. I drew my 1911 from its holster and shined my flashlight on the ceiling so the light could cascade down and illuminate the inky darkness of the restroom. I realized a gun wouldn't do anything to a ghost. It was something of a trained response to a perceived threat. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat as I asked, "Is anyone there?" while attempting to look through the crack of the stall door. I listened. All I could hear was my own heart beating. I began trying to convince myself that it's an old building. Maybe a breaker or a circuit got tripped, and the pop I heard was from the circuit breaker. Yeah, that had to be it. Or maybe the other contractor was playing a prank on me? I laughed at the thought, finished my business, and rejoined my coworker. I told him what happened and how I thought he was pulling a prank on me. He denied any involvement. I asked if he knew much about the job site. All he knew was it paid well enough that he didn't care what the building's history was. Easy gig for easy money. I filled him in on what had happened just a week before. He laughed and didn't believe me. Says ghosts are bullshit. Believe what you want, but the whole thing was a little unsettling for me. We got back to our routine, made the rounds, then hang out until it's time for another. Now, he has to use the restroom. I tell him where it is and he heads downstairs. I stay upstairs in the corner, keeping an eye on the crowd. A few minutes later he comes back up, slightly damp and looking annoyed. He looks at me and says, "Real funny smartass. Big prankster here just sneaking into the restroom, playing with the lights, running the faucets, and throwing water over the stall. You even laughed about it." I told him I had no idea what he was talking about. I had stayed upstairs the entire time. He still didn't believe me, so we pulled the camera footage. The footage shows he walked into the restroom, but no one went to the first floor lobby the entire time he was there. I turned to him and asked, "Do you believe there's something strange going on here now? That maybe the basement thing wasn't just bullshit?" He sits silent for a moment before saying, Let's just get back upstairs. I could see the look of shock on his face. He only worked 2 more events before he asked to be removed from the schedule. Night Shift, Part 6. It was another long night. There wasn't much going on and I fought to stay awake. Just as my eyelids grew heavy and began to shut, I heard the unmistakable buzz of the doorbell. I stand up from my chair and stretch before stepping into the hallway. The hallway that leads to my desk is narrow, dimly lit, and freezing cold. As I approached the end of the hall near the elevator, I thought I saw a figure standing there, just out of view. I turn to find I am alone. Yet I still feel as if someone is behind me. I press the button to call the elevator with my back against the wall as I scan the room for any sign of what I had just seen. The elevator arrives, and I step inside. The elevator was very humid and reeked of bodily odor that someone had attempted to mask with a floral scent deodorizer. The door opens to the main floor lobby and I answer the door. Outside the door stands an elderly woman. She came to the facility seeking help with her addiction. I guide her to the elevator, and once we're inside, I press the button to go upstairs. The buttons light up and the door closes. The elevator jerks and goes down to the basement. Once the elevator has stopped in the basement, I press the up button again multiple times, but the elevator does not move. Suddenly, there are several loud bangs on the outside of the elevator. I look at the elderly woman and she looks at me, wide-eyed, and says, "You heard it too." Before I can answer, the elevator goes back to my floor and we step off. There may be something going on here. I just really wish I knew what.
I really wish I knew as well. However, this is where the author concludes this story series. I was looking forward to much, much more and delving into the lore of this universe. Thank you ever so much for joining us this night. We hope you each and all have a most sweet sleep, and that your dreams are blessed by the Ancient One. For now, farewell and good night.
If you have enjoyed this, please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any stories you wish to have read, send them to Sollum's Librarius on Reddit. And if you wish to support my voice, you can go to our Patreon page, as necromancers don't pay well. Links to both are in the description.